real quick and make sure we make this bigger for you guys. All right. Well, thank you everyone who is with me or not with me and watching the recording later. My name is Ashley Ray. For anyone who's watching this that is unfamiliar with me, I will be one of your coordinators at the Marygrove event on Saturday. We also will have Kellen with us. If you have met him before from our Berman Center, he will be our other coordinator on site this day. Forgive my map a little bit. It's a little crazy. I wanted to make sure that everything was in here so you guys could see. This will be included in your run of show that I will send out tomorrow. So don't worry, you'll have tons and tons of details coming to you soon. As soon as we have our last meeting tomorrow morning with staff and finalize everything, I will send you a full run of show with a map and details about where to go, where to park, what to wear. I'll go over some of that tonight and make sure that you guys are all ready to go. So the first thing I want to mention is that it's probably going to be pretty hot. It's been hot the last few weeks, so I want to just make sure that you guys know that you can wear shorts to this event. If you are a Pooch Patrol volunteer, you may not want to, just because you're going to be really closely working with the dogs. But if you're not worried about it, I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to make you guys wear, long durable pants for an event like this where we're standing outside. So just please make sure that you have your volunteer shirt. If you don't have one, I will be bringing lots of extras, so I'll have one for you to change into. And make sure that you have closed-toed durable shoes. Sneakers are fantastic. We're going to be moving around a lot of grass and pavement, so I just want to make sure that you guys have proper shoes on. So that's all for what you need to wear. Like I said, I'll bring shirts if you need one, so don't worry about that. We'll have lots for you to pick from if you don't have one. Oh, got some people joining. Hold on, give me one second here. Right. So the first thing that I want to mention about the map here is if you haven't been to our Marygrove campus before, there's a lot of different entrances. The address that's going to be on your run of show is where you need to go to end up in this area, because we're not going straight to the school itself. We're actually going to the kind of this, if you see the early education center, there's like an elementary school over here. So this address that I'm going to give you off of Green Lawn is where you need to actually go. So don't worry, that's going to be in your run of show. The weirder part is that there's kind of an entrance in the middle of the grass. So if you miss it and you come down here, obviously we have staff that will help turn you around so you can get into the grass. But this area over here is going to be reserved for guests. We're going to be parking in this big green area. So there is an entrance over here. We may have a staff member kind of directing people. We usually have a sign that says staff and volunteer parking. I like to point it out because it is in between trees. It's a little hard to see. You're going through a fence actually to get through there. So, like I said, if you pass it and you just end up in the parking lot, don't worry. We'll make sure that you get back to where you need to go. But we're going to reserve that actual parking area for guests as best as we can. A lot of people walk up to this event or they park in other parts of Marygrove and walk over to us. So we usually do pretty well with parking, but we just want to make sure that staff and volunteers are off to the wayside there. So that's my first one here. I'm gonna try my best to explain the map. It has changed from previous years, so it's a little wonky. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. So if you notice this later in your run of show and you have more questions, please reach out to me. I'm working for the rest of the week, so I'm happy to answer questions for you. So I'm gonna try and go step by step through what this process looks like for a guest coming to the event. So they're going to come through here. We have an in and an out only. So they're going to come in and park in this area. We will have volunteers stationed here to help direct traffic in and out of that space. We usually give them a walkie-talkie so that they can answer questions. And then they come in here, park, and then they're going to walk to this welcome tent. So we have a big, nice tent for them here. And ideally, we would love for this line to go down and over. So my volunteers that are kind of helping out at Welcome Tent, I'll be over there or Kellen will be over there. My Pooch Patrol volunteers, we're going to put chairs that direction so that hopefully people start to turn their bodies this way because there's buildings and things on this other side. So they're going to come to the Welcome Tent. That's where my volunteers who are at the check-in, we call it check-in, I think, on our sign-in, so forgive me for that. But the volunteers there are going to be filling out paperwork for our guests. We have a form that will be included for you to see what it looks like in the run of show, which you just need to answer the first couple questions with the guest. So what's your name, your address, your phone number, your email address, what type of animal you have with you. If it's a dog, then it's, boy or girl, what breed, that kind of information. That's all you need to do with that tent. The reason that we fill it out for the guests is because we just want to make sure that if the people have any concerns with reading or anything like that, that we can support them, as well as making sure that we're as legible as possible, because we do use paper forms and we want to make sure that our volunteers who help put those into our system later can read. So we're just asking those basic questions and helping them fill that out here. Then we're going to be passing them along to the payment tent, where we're going to have staff and a couple volunteers from our Banfield group that are going to be helping with payment. So that's where the guests can ask questions about vaccines if they're concerned about any of the things that we're offering today. Payment is $30 for everything we're offering, or pay what you can. So if people can't pay that $30, if they can do $10, we'll take, whatever they can pay. If they can't pay anything at all, we're still going to service them. We want to make sure that our neighborhoods are healthy and our animals are healthy. So we ask for a donation of $30, and if they can't, we will help them with that.
Ashley, can I
Yeah.
ask a quick
Yep.
question? Is
Mhm.
that $30 per pet or $30 per family?
Per pet. Thank you for asking that, Tom. Per pet. And again, that can get pricey if you've ever been to one of these events. Sometimes people bring like 6 dogs with them, or six, a litter of puppies or something. So it is per animal. But if they can only do 30, if they misheard and where they were like, oh, I thought this whole thing was 30, I didn't know, we're not going to argue with them on that. That's okay. Our vaccines are donated, so this is just money to go back into performing this next year with, the setup and everything. So we're not worried about that. We just want to make sure that their animals get taken care of. So for anyone who hasn't gone to one of these events, we're offering the basic vaccines that pretty much any of the pets there can get. So even if they don't have prior paperwork or something, it's not a big deal. We'll go by their age and then figure out what they need. And everything that we have can be doubled up safely. So if they're not sure if they just got this vaccine, they can have another one that's not going to hurt anything. Um, so sometimes people get a little worked up, like, I don't have any paperwork. I don't know what they need. I just got them. I don't know what they had. That's totally okay. We'll have our vet staff talk to them too if they have concerns. So anybody who's working the welcome tent or is helping with pooch patrol, those are my volunteers who are kind of floating in and out, making sure that people are okay, their dogs have water, if they need somebody to hold their dog for them. Those volunteers, you might get some of those questions. And if you don't know the answer to it, don't worry about it. You can let them know that at the payment tent, they can answer those questions. So if you're getting overwhelmed or you're just like, I don't know anything about these vaccines, don't worry about it. We will have some flyers if they want to look at them, and it has a list of what we're offering today. But I usually just direct them to know that they can talk to the payment tent or the vet that's in the vaccine tent, because sometimes they have some more intense questions about like their pet's health and things. So we can direct them to the vets that are in the tents. So once they finish their payment, they might have to hang out for a little bit, wait their turn a little bit. But once it's their turn, someone's going to come out and get them to one of these vaccine tents where our veterinary staff are taking care of everything for them. It's a pretty quick process unless we have a dog that really just can't handle the situation, then we might take a little bit longer. But it's a pretty quick process. And ideally, they're going to enter out the backside and walk back so they can come around this way instead of back in the line here. So from payment to the vaccine tents, around the backside, and back this way. That's why I have a pooch patrol or two over here to kind of help with that direction moving until people kind of get the idea. Um, because we want them to hit these vendors too. We're going to have people here. I don't know who our vendors are this time, but we typically have like HAP or DTE or people who can kind of help with some people side of their needs that they might have at home. So we want to make sure that they get a chance to go over there and talk to those people. We've definitely had like DTE giving out free light bulbs for their house and things like that. So we just want to make sure that they get those resources and don't wander off too far. Now, we might have some people walking out because a lot of times Marygrove has events happening at the same time, so they might just kind of be going between, and that's fine. We just want to make sure that we let them know that there's some freebies for them if they'd like, and then back to their vehicle would be ideal. So that's kind of the loop for general public. Dogs that are pretty well behaved are going to go that direction. In a moment, I will make sure to give you guys additional information for anyone who's working the other side of our event here with the reactive animals. So this is just kind of the loop for our general animals that are okay with being in this type of environment. Now, we have a separate section over here called the reactive area. We have a separate payment tent and welcome tent over there. I have volunteers who have specifically signed up for this area. So if it's not your thing, all you really need to know is that this area is available. If anybody's animals start to kind of be a little, they're having a hard time, they're struggling with other dogs around, they're kind of getting stressed out and barking a lot, we will have behavior team members watching for that type of behavior. We're going to try and catch them in the cars beforehand. We have got some floater behavior teams that are going to go up and say like, oh, does your dog need any special assistance? Are they, they're not really comfortable with this environment? Um, if that's the case, we're going to redirect them to this reactive area. So for my volunteers who aren't working in the reactive area, if you are concerned with an animal and you think maybe they should go over there, please let myself or Kellen or another staff member know so that they can determine if that's the correct route for this animal. And they'll go talk to that person and see if they would like to change. So that's just a quicker way for us to try and get these animals out of here. The other thing that's going to be going to this area is cats. So all cats should be redirected to the reactive area. If you haven't been here before, we have a van from that's donated to us from Banfield. It's lovely. It has veterinary desks and everything inside of it that we need, so that we can take care of cats inside a vehicle that closes instead of them getting away from us. So if you see somebody with a cat and they're walking toward our regular check-in area over here, we want to make sure that we direct them to the reactive area. Again, we're going to try and catch those people in the parking lot and, hopefully it won't be a problem. But again, we just want to get them in and out. Those cats don't need to sit here with barking dogs all day. Yes, Tom,
Sorry about another question, but
please.
if a family comes with a dog and a cat, where do they go first?
Cats. They can take both animals to the reactive area. So doesn't matter if they also have a dog. We're going to take care of all of them over there and just get them out of there so that cat doesn't have to sit for any longer. So yeah, sometimes people do, they like walk up with one thing and then suddenly they have a cat that you didn't notice they had. And so feel free to send them that direction. The cats are going to move way faster. The only thing that kind of holds us up over in that area is if we send really young puppies over there sometimes because they're so young, we want to keep them up off the ground. So we'll handle them inside the Banfield van, or if people have a lot of cats. So usually just the amount of things is what backs up that line. But otherwise it moves pretty quickly, which helps get these animals through. And like I said, we take reactive dogs too. So they'll be over here. So for this part that I'm going to explain is going to be for people who are working in this area. A couple of you are going to be helping with payment. If you've done this before, it's the same concept what we've been doing all year, our new kind of runner type of style that we've been doing, where we've got volunteers who are holding clipboards with the paperwork, and they're going over to people who are sitting apart in this area or to the vehicles. If we think that dog should not get out of the vehicle at all, we're going to ask them to stay in there and we're going to feed the clipboard through their window so that they can fill out the paperwork themselves. And then ask for what vaccines they would like and then take payment to the payment tent to be processed. That way that person does not have to get out of their vehicle hardly at all with that animal if they're struggling too much. We've even had our behavior team go and do the vaccines in the vehicle if we've had to. So we really are trying to be accommodating. We know sometimes these dogs are not used to this. They're, bought for protection for their house. So of course they're going to be doing their job and making sure that their humans safe. So we understand that. And we'll try our best. If for some reason we absolutely cannot administer vaccines because of the safety of our team, we will direct them to come to the shelter and get that process done instead. So we'll try our best, but redirect them and make sure that they still get services. So those volunteers in that area going to the person with their pet, either in the car or in chairs spread out, and letting them fill out their paperwork or asking from afar. Just if they're human reactive, sometimes they're just dog reactive and it's not a problem. But that's why these volunteers in this area have their positive start training and they are familiar with body language. If you're not, that's okay. I'll make sure that I'm with you as well, but everybody should be pretty familiar. We just don't want to be approaching those dogs without asking. We really should ask everybody, before we approach anybody's dog, but especially in this area in case they are uncomfortable. So we'll get them paperwork, get their payment back to the payment tent, and then when it's their turn, we'll call their name up so that they can do their vaccines. Okay. That is the two main areas. Do we have any questions about those areas of the event? Once you get there too, and you start kind of seeing the flow, you'll be good. Oh, Andrea, sorry, don't
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I had a question. I was so glad my microphone is working now. Um, there was another email about coming early to help set up.
Yes.
So
Did
how
you?
early? Is it 8 o'clock?
Yeah, that's 8 o'clock. I think there's two people registered. So if you're not registered for that, I think they're okay. But you're more than welcome to come early if you would like and kind of get your bearings or anything like that. We'll be there as early as 8 o'clock. So that's totally up to you. I will definitely be there at 8 o'clock. So whatever you guys are comfortable with, you're welcome. Especially if you might need to change a shirt or something, you might want to come a little bit early. So let me actually go back over that too. So setup volunteers who are coming to help set up with Greg from my support services team. They are arriving at 8 a.m. I will be there at 8 a.m. 9 a.m. is the actual arrival for volunteers. That's when we're going to try and have our huddle as close to that 9 o'clock as possible. I like to have our huddle and get everybody kind of comfy and make sure you have what you need, and then try to kind of put you in your spot so you can have a little bit of time to familiarize yourself. Usually at these events, there are already people waiting in line before we get there. So people know we do this event. They know that they want to get there early. They don't want to have to wait in line. We are our goal is 300 vaccines. So we usually are okay. We're not worried about people not getting their vaccine, and we usually bring a couple extra, but our goal is 300. So people don't want to wait for 300 people. So I understand why they're there early. But just so you know, that kind of gets us a little thrown off. That's why we try to start like an hour early if we can, because people just start asking questions and they're ready to go, even if we're not. So 9 o'clock arrival and ready for our huddle. And then 10 o'clock is the actual time that the event starts. If we're all good to go and our director on site says, let's get these people moving, we might start a little bit early, but we try to hold that 10 o'clock as best as possible so that we make sure our team is ready to go. All right. A couple other little details on the map here. If you haven't been here before, we have a break area and restrooms, it's a nice covered building area. We usually have food like in between. So the food is like outside, but it's like covered. And we'll let you guys know. I'm going to assume that it's Buddy's Pizza. They usually are our sponsors for these events. So if you don't want Buddy's Pizza, you're welcome to bring something. But we will have pizza, usually salad too. In the morning, Greg usually brings coffee, donuts, things like that. So you'll get some breakfast as well. And like I said, the restrooms are here too. And then I mentioned our vendors, but we also have a pet food pantry. We may or may not need volunteer help this time. That's why it wasn't on the list. But if we do, and anybody wants to volunteer for that during, the day, you're more than welcome to. We're doing it a little bit different this year, where we're actually just pulling it out of the truck itself, and that's kind of helped the process be a little faster than pallets. So people can leave with food. We usually offer a bag of dog food and a bag of cat food for every family. So they're welcome to take those on their way out as they're leaving the parking lot. Sometimes we also have licenses being done. There's tons of different people that come, so I'm not always told who those people are, but there probably are going to be a lot of other groups helping us give some important stuff to their pets. So, and the last thing that I just want to mention are breaks. So you guys are allowed to have breaks. Please don't feel like you have to Like wait until lunchtime if you need anything. Please just let somebody know. If we need to put another volunteer in your spot, we will. Let me know, let Kellen know. We're going to distribute some walkie-talkies since this is a big footprint here for us to be kind of spread out. One of us, probably me, will be in the reactive area, watching over this area with volunteers, and then Kellen will most likely be in this other area here. So each two will have a point person. But that doesn't mean you can't grab me if you see me and you need something, or vice versa with Kellen. But yeah, like I said, we'll have walkie-talkies. For my Pooch Patrol people, you will have treat pouches. We'll have dog bags distributed around. We usually have like little stands, but you'll also have them in your treat pouch. So we'll have those on hand. I also will be bringing sunscreen and bug spray, but if you would like your own, I recommend that. It's not usually bad with bugs here that I can remember, but you know, we never know with weather. It could rain the night before and be kind of gross. So I always bring those. We will have things like water, but I always recommend just bringing a water bottle, just so you have something to carry around, in case you don't get to go to the break area too often. And I think that that's everything. Do you guys have any questions? The only thing that'll keep us weather-wise is if we have thunder and lightning. So I also bring ponchos. My gosh, it's too late. Ponchos. So if you want to bring a rain jacket, I usually just recommend layers if you have anything, like if you want a hoodie or something. I know it's been hot, but sometimes there's a weird breeze or something, or it's gonna rain and it's cold. So I always just over prepare. But any questions? Tom's shaking his head no.
Nope.
Okay, Adina, good, I'm guessing. All right. Well, this is probably one of our easier One Health events. I say that, and I hopefully won't jinx myself, but this one flows pretty smoothly. So I'm hopeful that it'll be a nice, easy day for everybody, and we'll get everyone taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I do have a question. You said Green Lawn, is that off of Wyoming or is that off Livernois? Will we enter
Yeah, I think it's Livernois.
Livernois?
I'll double check. I might be confusing myself because we used to do it out of the back side of this building too, so I'm not sure if I'm confusing where we're
Oh.
at, but I can make a bigger map too so everybody can kind of see this like
Oh, no, it's okay.
the road is like right here though. It's pretty close to us.
Okay.
A lot of people walk right across the street here. It's like right over here.
Okay.
But yeah, the address itself will take you to the school. That's right here that we're using the backside parking lot of. So the address that's in your run of show will take you there. So like I said, if you end up in the parking lot, the staff's going to be everywhere. So we'll make sure that you get to the right area.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys are good, go ahead and close this out real quick.
Right. Thank you.
Yes. Have a great night, and I will see you guys on Saturday.
You too.
Thank you.